Let's see what happens in my division now. Who ends up fighting for the belt and who ends up getting the belt. Could have big implications for my career going forward. Champ. The Diamond. Chirito.
I think it's time for him to have the opportunity to become a double champ. And I like this fight a lot. I like it a lot because, you know, they both move good on the feet. They both move a lot. Body kicks.
Paddy Pimblett took a jab at Ilia Topuria with a harsh troll, reigniting their long-standing tension. Pimblett mocked the featherweight champion amid the uncertainty surrounding Topuria's next fight. Paddy also took note of how Islam's moving up could make significant changes for his career trajectory. Meanwhile, delving into what led to this hostility, Topuria once had a heated confrontation with UFC lightweight Paddy the Baddy in a hotel lobby. This incident nearly escalated into a physical altercation before others intervened to defuse the tension. It was from this point on that both fighters continued to take jabs at each other at any moment they got the chance. Since the hotel confrontation and despite the denial, tensions between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett have continued to simmer, with both fighters regularly taking jabs at one another whenever the opportunity arises.
Who said that? I couldn't hear you.
What did you say? I didn't say nothing. What did you say, Jared? That was some space cadet behind you. That was some chorizo, a Spanish sausage.
He's so different.
Your boy over there.
You see me coming, he go to the back doors.
He's obsessed with me, lad. It's heavy.
Shut the fuck up.
He hasn't stopped tweeting about me all week, lad. He needs to sort his life out.
Fucking him out, please, loudly, shut up, man.
Champ. The Diamond. Chirito.
The fiery exchanges between Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria made it clear that their rivalry ran deeper than just competition. The bad blood between them wasn't just for show, it was personal, with each encounter adding more heat to a feud that refuses to die down.
Come on, do something then. Do something, stand up. What'll you do? You'll do nothing. You'll do nothing, you little fart. Go and sit back down. Sit back down, you little puta.
Everything he talks.
Little mushroom.
Hey, I don't think he gets the balls to face me and close himself in the octagon with me, so.
As for Ilia Topuria, his back and forth with Paddy Pimblett has been all over the place over the years. One moment he seems fired up to fight him, the next he's not so sure. It's been a bit of an on-again and off-again situation.
He's not even ranked. Why I have to fight him? What he got? Like Instagram followers, YouTube followers, a lot of people who are like more popular than him. I don't care about that kid.
Yeah, of course. I really want him win, draw, lose. It doesn't matter. I want to fight him next. I want to kick really his.
To be honest, I forgot about him. I forgot all about him. Or I would have mentioned him in the cage. You know what I mean? I don't call him hand sanitizer boy anymore. He's now El Chorizo. But as I say, I literally forgot all about him. That's how relevant he is. I'm ranked higher than he is at lightweight. So, you know, I'd love to welcome him to 155. But apparently he's out and waiting for the title shot. But, you know, that what I've just done to Chandler's after blueprint of beating him. He's even more of a midget than Chandler is. Like, I'll do the exact same thing to Ilia than what I've done to Chandler.
However, Paddy noted that Jack Della Maddalena displayed impressive takedown defense in his recent performance, but emphasized that Islam Makhachev presents a completely different challenge. He expressed interest in seeing how Makhachev's strength and grappling dominance translate as he moves up to the welterweight division for a potential clash with JDM.
Della versus Islam, he showed he's got good takedown defense there, but Islam's a different beast, isn't he? So we'll have to see how his strength transfers up to welterweight. featherweight. Main card, UFC probably won't be too happy with that, like 4 fights went to decision, but there was some good fights in there. The main event was better than I expected it was going to be, to be honest. Jack Della, new champ. He'll be fighting Islam next, I think. Let's see what happens in my division now.
Moving on, Pimblett highlighted the significance of the upcoming matchups, pointing out that these fights could carry major implications for multiple divisions. He emphasized that the outcomes could shape future title pictures, potential rivalries, and fighter trajectories, especially with key names.
Who ends up fighting for the belt and who ends up getting the belt could have big implications for my career going forward.
Furthermore, Demetrius Johnson stated that Islam Makhachev has earned the right to challenge for the welterweight title, having defeated nearly every top contender in the lightweight division. He believes it's the right time for Makhachev to be given the opportunity to become a double champion, recognizing his dominance and consistency at 155 pounds.
But I don't think it was fight of the year. We still got 6 months left, and I don't think it was back and forth now. Now, here we go, boys. Here we go. I do love this. I do respect this about Dana White. He did said that, you know, if Jack Della wins, he will give Islam Makhachev the opportunity to go up and fight for the 170-pound belt, which I think Islam Makhachev has done enough.
Expressing his excitement for the potential matchup, Johnson stated that the fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena is likely to take place at Madison Square Garden. He pointed out that Della Maddalena is still recovering from a tough recent bout and suggested the fight be scheduled for later this year, giving him at least 2 months to prepare. Johnson also noted that both Makhachev and JDM walk around as naturally big welterweights when not cutting weight, making the matchup all the more intriguing at 170 pounds.
They're both big 170ers, and I'm excited for this fight. If I had to guess, this fight will probably take place at MSG. Reason why I say that is because you have Jack Della who just fought. He's pretty banged up. So let's give him 2 months to recover. That puts us in May, June, July. Okay, July. Then you have, I would like Jack Della to get at least 3 to 2 months to prepare for this fight. So July, August, September, October. November 5th is right when they're going to do it. So if I had to say it, they'll probably put this fight on next to hopefully John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. If I had to guess, this is going to be MSG, Madison Square Garden. That's when this fight's going to happen.
Moreover, Johnson expressed doubt that a fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira will take place. He shared that he was scheduled to do an autograph signing in Arizona, but the company ultimately chose Charles Oliveira instead, citing prior commitments. From that interaction, Johnson heard that Oliveira would not be fighting anytime soon. While he acknowledged the possibility that his sources could be mistaken, Johnson admitted he doesn't believe the Topuria versus Oliveira matchup is likely to happen.
Now, I doubt this is going to be the fight that's going to happen. The reason why is because I was supposed to do autograph signing for a company in Arizona, but they said, unfortunately, we're going to go with Charles Oliveira because Charles Oliveira was prior to doing this autograph session. He was booked to go out there and do it before me. And he said that I'm not fighting in July. Obviously, things change all the time. I'm not fighting in July, so I'll give you a discount and still do this tour with you guys. So unless my colleague is lying to me, which he damn well could be lying to me, I don't think this is the fight that's going to happen.
Building on that, Johnson stated that if the fight between Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira does happen, he would favor Topuria to win. He explained that when Topuria gets dropped in fights, it doesn't shake his confidence. Instead, it fuels his aggression and pushes him to go even harder for the victory. Johnson added that if Topuria manages to hurt Oliveira during their potential bout, then he would capitalize on the moment by taking him down and pressing the advantage.
This fight is going to happen. Charles Oliveira taking on Ilia Topuria. I'm going to go with Ilia Topuria. The reason why is because when Charles Oliveira, he has been dropped multiple times in his fights. And Ilia Topuria has been dropped, a couple times in his fight when he fought Jay Herbert. The athlete who got back up and started taking it more to his opponent on the feet they both have, I should say. But I like how Ilia Topuria goes about when he does get dropped. He keeps on pressing the pace. He keeps on trying to knock out his opponent.
In addition, Kamaru Usman commented on Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight, saying it complicates the landscape of the division. He emphasized that people need to stop overlooking Jack Della Maddalena and start giving him the respect he deserves. Usman pushed back against the narrative that Makhachev is simply coming to take the title, urging fans to stop assuming the outcome and acknowledge JDM's legitimacy.
With Islam potentially coming up into the division now, it throws a wrench into things because For one, I don't know. I don't think like, let's not take anything away from JDM. Like I've already said that. Like, everybody, let's stop sleeping on JDM. You know, this guy is good. So let's stop just thinking, oh, Islam's coming in and Islam's going to take his title and Islam's the new champion. Let's stop thinking that. I think it's an intriguing fight. I think it's a really, really good fight, and it's a tough matchup for both guys.
Moreover, Kamaru acknowledged that Islam Makhachev's entry into the welterweight division could alter his own trajectory. With a fight against Joaquin Buckley ahead, Usman stated that if he secures a win, he believes he should be next in line for a title shot. He emphasized the importance of his upcoming bout and how Makhachev's presence adds a new layer of competition to the title picture.
Now, with Islam coming in, that throws a wrench into where I am at. Because Buckley and I go out there and we put on an impressive performance. Hey, we're next.
Yeah,
I'm next. If I go out there and I put on an impressive performance against Buckley, I'm next in that.
However, Henry Cejudo highlighted the complexity Islam Makhachev's move brings to the welterweight division, noting that Makhachev and Kamaru Usman are friends, which could complicate future matchups. He stated that he favors Makhachev in a potential bout against Jack Maddalena, and if Makhachev wins while Usman defeats Joaquin Buckley, a fight between the two could become inevitable, despite their personal ties.
Can I tell you something, Kamaru? This is where the wrench is being thrown in. You're boys with Islam, and honestly, I favor Islam in this fight with JDM. Islam defeats JDM. You beat Joaquin Buckley. Oh, I can already see you. Just, you know, getting uncomfortable there, Kush. Are we gonna see a potential matchup with the Nigerian Nightmare and Islam Makhachev? Whoa!
It's one of those things that it's one of those things that we'd have to talk about. Obviously, that's a blockbuster fight.
You know what I'm saying? Like, your wrestling's probably better than Islam's, and you're bigger, and you throw hands really good.
I don't know if I'm bigger. Listen, Islam is no small dude. Listen, Islam is not small. Islam will fill out nicely in the welterweight division.
No,
like,
I guess we'll cross that road when we get there, but it's just things to think about. So what does that leave Bilal and the rest of the division at 170 pounds?
Building on that, Javier Mendez noted that if the UFC moves forward with a fight between Islam Makhachev and Jack, it would mark a major legacy moment for Islam. He explained that Makhachev has long aimed to challenge for the welterweight title if the opportunity arose, and this bout would represent a pivotal step toward that goal. Mendez added that it would be favorable if the fight were to take place in a location favorable to their camp.
If they grant that to Islam, if that's what the UFC decides to do, it would be a legacy fight for Islam, because his goal was to fight for that welterweight title if it was available, meaning Bilal wasn't there. But now that Bilal's not there, if the UFC grants him that would be unbelievable, and even more unbelievable if it grants him that fight in a favorable place for us. But who knows? Let's see what they come up with.
Looking ahead, Javier addressed the question of whether Jack Della Maddalena poses a tougher challenge, stating it's difficult to say definitively. However, with Islam Makhachev eager for the fight, Mendez is fully behind the matchup, viewing it as the kind of test Islam is built to conquer. As Makhachev's longtime trainer, Mendez emphasized the champion's relentless work ethic and unique skill set, asserting that the Dagestani warrior is a completely different kind of threat, one that Jack has yet to face.
It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, Islam's a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level.
In addition, Javier Mendez noted that while he hasn't seen Islam Makhachev compete at welterweight yet, the move makes sense from a physical standpoint. He explained that cutting less weight means easier recovery, which benefits Makhachev overall. However, he added that if the fight takes place in Australia, the short 24-hour recovery window could be a factor, as fighters have less time to rehydrate and rebound before stepping into the cage.
You know, the weight is not super big for him either, so he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes. I'm hoping, I haven't seen it, so I haven't seen him at welterweight, but I'm thinking, logically speaking, you know, he has to cut less weight, and you know, recovery time is a lot less too. So, but if it is in Australia, we'll need it, because in Australia, you know, they only give you 24 hours to recover. Then it's not a 36 hours like everywhere else. So we'll only have 24-hour recovery. So if that's the case, it's fantastic. And I don't know if that's going to be an advantage because of that reason. But if it's anywhere else where it's the 36-hour plus, then it's a nice advantage for Islam to recover quicker. Of course, yeah, of course, that would make everybody happy. You know, if something like that were to happen, and the UFC gods make those decisions and everybody accepts, that would be the ideal situation. You know, and again, like I said, these are actual facts of what could happen.
Michael Bisping pointed out that Jack Della Maddalena's first title defense is expected to be against Islam Makhachev, which explains why Makhachev has been waiting. He acknowledged that Makhachev deserves this opportunity at welterweight, but also raised the question of whether his move up should come with being stripped of the lightweight title, given the implications for that division.
Now Jack's the champion, and his first defense is going to be a super fight against Islam Makhachev. That's what Islam has been waiting for, and that's what he's been campaigning for. He afforded the opportunity to Alexander Volkanovski 2 times in a row. Didn't want to do it again to Ilia Topuria, because if he beats him, he beat a smaller guy. If he loses, he loses to a smaller guy, and that could in some ways tarnish his legacy as the greatest lightweight fighter that the sport's ever seen, because he's defended the belt 4 times, more than anybody else, and of course he is the pound for pound #1. He's going to fight Jack Della Maddalena at 170 pounds. So the question is, whilst Islam is going off on this side quest to become a 2-weight division champion, and fair play to it, he's the pound for pound #1 greatest fighter in the sport, okay? He deserves these opportunities. But the question is, while we're kicking the ball around and playing devil's advocate, should Islam Makhachev be stripped of the title, or should they bring in an interim title? As I said, we've had some clarity. We now know that Ilia Topuria will fight Charles do Bronx Oliveira, because some people that I work with, called Adam and Nick Pete from the Fight Disciples, I work with them on TNT Sports, they say that Islam should be stripped. Now, I think that's crazy, but they do raise some good points. When you look at the lightweight rankings, there is some people that he hasn't yet fought. I'm looking at them right now, of course. There's Arnold Sarukian, he's #1. There's Justin Gaethje, that's #3. Max Holloway's #4. There's Mateusz Gamrot. There's Paddy Pimblett. There's a lot of viable contenders. However, I'm kind of with Islam here. He has been a great champion. He's taking short notice replacements like Renato Moicano on just like a day's notice, okay? He's defended the belt 4 times, and he has given Volkanovski a chance of becoming a 2-weight division champion at the risk of Islam Makhachev. So he just wants those same opportunities.
All that being said, the rivalries are heating up and divisions are shifting. Paddy Pimblett's latest jab at Ilia Topuria has reignited their feud, while Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight is shaking up the title picture. With big names weighing in and major matchups on the horizon, the UFC is heading into a volatile and thrilling new chapter. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the latest updates on UFC rivalries, fight news, and behind-the-scenes drama. Drop a comment below. Who do you think wins if Paddy and Topuria ever meet in the octagon? And can Makhachev conquer welterweight? Let us know.